up, y'all? It's your girl Ayana of Family Garden Chronicles, and I am letting you in on my journey to building what I hope will be a great and productive family garden for this fall winter season. So it is November here in Georgia. I am in zone 8A, and I am about to plant some more brassicas like what you see behind me. So I'm going to plant some more, like right there you see those red mustard, and then I also have some dragon placenta or Tuscan kale. They have 3 different names over right there, and then I have my Georgia collards right there. So I'm about to plant some mustards. So let's get into adding to the fall winter garden. So from what I understand, we still have some time to get some things in the ground. I talked to my dad. My dad is an avid gardener. He's also a landscaper by trade. One of the things he said is like, this is the perfect time to get some mustards in the ground. So I actually have some mustard seed. I got my little seeds in my pocket. But I have a few more of these giant red mustard seeds by Fair Morse. And so I'm gonna go ahead and use those before they get old and they're not any good. So that's what you see in that little blue tote right there, the little reddish looking leaves. They make beautiful leaves and they taste sublime. They are so good, so good. So I'm about to put some of these in a tote. I have my organic potting mix right there. I got my blood meal. So I'm gonna add those over there in that little empty section right there. I'm gonna add them over there. It says that you should plant between August and December, which I did start those in August. I've harvested off those a few times, but I want to grow them bigger and better because that over there is actually a little overcrowded because I didn't know what I was doing at first. But it takes about 5 to 8 days for them to germinate. Planting depth is a 1/2 inch. Spacing is 6 inches apart, so I should be able to get like a good bit in this tote. This tote that I have is from Walmart. I'll let y'all see it. It's that gray tote that's right there, and that tote is 23 1/8 inch long by 18 1/8 inch wide by 14 7/8 inch high. So it has good height. It's at least 12 inches high. We got 14 inches, so that's great. It's an 18-gallon capacity, so I can like grow several plants in here. It's 18 inches wide, which means if the planting spacing is 6 inches, I can do 3 plants across, and let's see, I can do 3 across and 3 back. So I'm gonna see how many I want to get in this one, and it's also gonna be based on how many seeds I have left. So that's the first thing I'm gonna be planting, and this is what it says. The hardy leaves of this mustard are slow to bolt. These purple red leaves grow large and thick with white midribs. They have a strong mustard flavor that is good for picking. So directly in the garden as early as the soil can be made fine and loose. Plant seeds every 2 inches, covering firmly with soil. Then plants to 6 inches apart when they display 2 to 3 leaves. As plants begin to crowd, pick individual leaves regularly for use. So I need to harvest out of that one, but I'm gonna go ahead and get going with this one. And it's 21 to 45 days to harvest. I think we're gonna be expecting our first frost next week. So I kind of want to wait before I harvest those, but then I kind of want to eat some because I want the frost to hit them. But I'm also looking forward to it because these are very I think cool resistant. So they're cool hardy. That's the word. I just learned that word from the Millennial Gardener. Shout out to the Millennial Gardener. So I have my tote, so I'm just gonna put all my seeds. Like, I got a lot of seeds. I'm gonna let something share a space with these. I think I might do some radishes in with these mustards. It's still debatable. Ugh. So right now I'm gonna take, it rained and I left these outside, so they're a little stuck together. I gotta loosen them up, and it's cold. That doesn't help. Okay, so I'm about to drill holes. I have my drill. I'm about to drill holes in these. I'm gonna turn my camera down so y'all can see me in my little process of drilling these holes. So I'm just gonna come here, drill a hole, come here. We got the holes in here. So y'all see holes along the bottom and along the side bottoms. So now we have some Miracle Grow. My fingers are freezing, y'all. It is cold in Georgia and it's still damp outside from like the dew. Fortunately, my organic potting mix was actually in my car. So I pulled my car around and got it out the trunk. Okay. The other thing I'm going to be using is as I plant and get the soil ready, I'm going to be using some Epsom salt, and I'm going to be using some blood meal. And I like blood meal as a fertilizer because my greens, all my plants seem to like blood meal. I haven't really used a lot of bone meal. They like the fish fertilizer, they like the blood meal, and they like the Epsom salt. I don't really understand the science behind it, but they just like it. So I just feed it to them. All right, I had to take a little break because the fingers were a little nippy. A little nippy. I had to warm up a little bit. But so I have I just had it on the ground, so it's a little dirty. I got my Epsom salt, and I got my blood meal. Splash myself in the face. I got my blood meal, and you can't see it. I got my Miracle Grow organic garden soil. Some people don't like it, but my daddy told me to get it, so I got it, and I actually like it. I like what it does for me in the garden, and you see I got plants growing, so it's really all that matters to me. Sometimes if I have, and I don't feel like going upstairs getting cardboard, but if I have like a lot of cardboard, what I'll do is take the cardboard, break it up, put it on the bottom of this, and then add my soil, so it'll just kind of self-compost over time. And it helps conserve the soil. It takes, in one of these 18-gallon containers, for the amount of soil that I want in there, I like to fill mine up almost to the rim. This is something that I learned that I didn't know. If you see those little white containers back there, look like little totes, I didn't do that with them, and they crack so easy. I'm hoping these won't crack as easy as those little clear ones that I had back there. But yeah, so it takes about 2 bags or a bag and a half of this to fill this 18-gallon tote. So that's what I'm about to do now. Six bags of dirt. Only can get about 3 totes done. Y'all see that dirt? So I'm gonna get my little hand shovel and I'm gonna kind of break it up a little bit. But while I'm breaking it up, I'm gonna open my Epsom salt. Everything here I can use to open this up. Oh, I'll use my drill. And I put a little bit of Epsom salt in there. That's what I just put in there, folks. Now I'm gonna put just a little bit of blood meal in there. Now I got this from Lowe's yesterday. Okay, it kind of broke up a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there because it already has, the Miracle Grow already has some stuff in it to help it. So I just put a little bit. Everything out here is kind of damp. And I like to kind of add a little nourishment down on this level because as the roots grow, I want the roots to feel good and strong. You definitely want to break up your dirt or your potting soil. Get all the big clumps out. You don't want anything hindering those roots. In the spring, I'm gonna learn to, well, going into spring, I plan to hopefully start using raised beds. I want to build out some raised beds for myself. And yeah, that's good. So I wait and water towards the end, and I get the dirt good and saturated. Plus, that water is gonna make this real heavy. The water is gonna make this real heavy, and I gotta move this over there. What I'm probably gonna do is slide these Georgia collards right here, slide them back, and just drag this right there into the front. Because what I did was I went and I created rows so I can walk in between each one when I get ready to start harvesting things. So the sun is coming up. They're about to start getting their sun for the day. So it's a really good time to be out here planting as well. I call myself living my country girl life 2.0 because I grew up in the country. I grew up in South Georgia with my dad, my mom, around both sets of my grandparents, even knew my great grandmother. I remember the lady next door to us where we lived, her name, we called her Cousin Lucindy, because down in the country everybody calls somebody cousin somebody. She was an older lady, wore copper bracelets, sweet lady, but didn't take no stuff. And I remember her canning. I remember her taking plums, like the wild plums, and making plum preserves, pear preserves, peach preserves, apple preserves. I remember all that stuff. I remember my grandmama doing it. I remember my grandmama making fresh peach cobbler. We would go pick blackberries and make a fresh blackberry cobbler. And we just go down the street and there was a little patch. The lady behind my grandmother, she had a fig tree and we couldn't wait, little kids. And she didn't care about us coming to her yard. We could go to anybody's yard and we were outside playing all day. We could drink out the spigot. And we got hungry, but we didn't want to go in the house. We knew we were going in the house, they were going to make us either stay in the house or they were going to make us take a nap. So we would stay outside as long as we could. We would eat off those fig trees. We would go in the plum bushes and eat them plums when they would get ripe. them good yellow and red plums. So yeah, I remember those times and I miss them. All right, so as you can see, this is almost filled all the way up to the top. I have just a little bit of space, right, room, so maybe about 3-4 inches at the top, which is fine. And if I ever decide I want to top any of the roots off, or the thick, as the stems get thicker, I can always come in and add a little more dirt to top them off. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did earlier. I'm gonna add a little blood meal, and I'm gonna mix it in with this top layer. One thing I've learned from the time that I have been gardening, because I just started my first garden. I grew up around gardens, but I just started my first garden back in the spring, because I felt like we were gonna need to grow our own stuff, right? And so I want to grow my own food, and then I also want to be healthier. So I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. But I've learned so much in that time. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I grew up around gardens and picking stuff out the garden and all that, but I didn't grow up actually like planting and managing a garden. You know what I'm saying? I grew up being a support, a resource for a garden. All right, so we got this planter ready, y'all. So I'm gonna slide this back. I'm gonna slide these other ones back, and I'm gonna slide this in place. So I'm not gonna actually add the seeds until, well, you know what? I'll go ahead and add the seeds now, so you can see how I plan on adding the seeds to this. So let me find my mustard seed pack. I'll put everything in my pocket. Here they are. So it says plant every 2 inches. So I'm gonna just guesstimate what 2 inches are. And it only need to be like a 1/2 inch depth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create rows in here. I'm gonna create 2-inch rows. All right. So I'm gonna start from here. And I just let my trowel create my little row. That's it. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna come and do the same thing here. All right. So in this one, all I'm gonna have in here is mustard. And I'm just coming in here, dropping seeds in each row. Now, a little something about these seeds. I accidentally left this packet of seeds outside at one point. So I really didn't think none of these were going to germinate, but they fooled me, because they did end up germinating. That's why I have those that I have over there on the other side. But because I know some of these started trying to do something, I'm just going to overfill these rows with them for now. Okay. And then Now I got my rows. I'm just gonna take my trowel and I'm just gonna push the dirt over. Like so. So what I have done now, I've covered my rows. What I'm gonna do is once I get this water in place, get it watered, I'm gonna create a cover using those tops. And I'm gonna have a, since I'm direct sowing these in November, the birds like to come and eat my seeds. I don't know how they know the seeds are in there, but they like to come and eat my seeds. I love the birds, but I have a love-hate relationship with the birds because they like to eat my stuff. So I'm gonna take the top, I'm gonna cut that round part out. So they can still get sun and get water and all of that. And I'm gonna have a little bit of tulle fabric that's gonna cover this. And that's gonna protect, is that my husband? Oh no. That's gonna protect the seeds from the birds, because they will get in there and they will eat my stuff. And I live over here. See, they're flying around now. I don't know if you can see. And they just be talking. You see them? Just flying. And then they just be talking. Like they be saying, like, girl, get out of our garden. It's my garden. This ain't y'all garden. It's my garden. And they need to understand that. So I'm going to put this in place, and then I'm going to get ready for my next thing I'm about to plant. I think this is going to give us a nice little healthy amount of plants. Oh, something else with this. Once these start to come up, because I put so many seeds in here, I may have too many healthy plants in here once I thin them out. I don't like to waste my plants. So most likely what I'll do is take a pot. It could even be a smaller pot, and take them and put them in here. Take some of these out as I'm thinning them out, and I will transplant some of those to another container to let them finish growing. So I don't just throw away stuff just because I'm thinning stuff out. And then I'll come back and we'll start the next thing I'm going to plant.